All right, welcome back. We are going to do Chapter 3, Section 2, and this is a Part 2. So we're still in Section 2, but this is Part 2, and we're still working with inequalities. And basically down here at the difference between yesterday's section and this one is that we are going to do fractions, and we're going to solve these polynomials using our calculator as well. So let's get right into it. All right, so there is a difference here between when something is a division of 0 versus division by 0. There is a difference, okay? When you have 0 divided by a number, the answer is 0. You can cut 0 into 6 equal pieces. Those 6 equal pieces are equal to 0. However, you cannot take 6 and divide it by nothing. That doesn't work. 6 divided by nothing is undefined. Your calculator will give you an error. Okay? You can never, ever, ever divide something by 0. Not possible. Okay, so cross it off. So 0 can never be on the bottom. Okay, so we're going to use this information to help us with our next example. Okay, this should look very similar to yesterday's section. We have a bunch of factors, and it's either less than or greater than 0. Okay, so the only difference is we now have a fraction, and so we have this x minus 4 on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. I'm going to do this just exactly like we did it yesterday. I'm going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to start plotting our zeros. X plus 2 is at negative 2. And it's a closed circle symbol. So closed circle at negative 2. X minus 5 is at positive 5. Closed circle. X minus 4 is at 4. Now the only difference is if it's on the bottom, it always has to be an open circle. Because if I were to plug 4 into 4 minus 4, that would be equal to 0. And we just showed on the last page that dividing by 0 is an error you get undefined. So this equation, or this expression, can never be equal to 4. Because if I plug 4 in, I get 0 on the bottom, which is no good. Okay? So the first thing we need to do now is do one of our sign analysis. I'm going to give me a number to the right of 5. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 6. 6 plus 2 is positive. 6 take away 5 is positive. There are 2 of those. 6 take away 4 is also positive. Positives divided by positives is equal to a positive. All right, so now, fractions are just like the ones that aren't fractions. The signs are going to alternate except for when we have a double root. So the signs will not alternate at the double. So 5 is my double root, so it's going to stay positive. And then the 4 and the negative 2 are both single roots, so it's going to change again. Okay, so they alternate everywhere except for the double root. So our double root here is 5. I don't know what happened there. 5 is my double root, so it has to stay the same sign on both sides. Okay, so now how do I write my answer? My answers I'm looking for are when my problem is less than or equal to 0. So that would be my negative symbol. Okay, so where's my negative symbol at? It's between negative 2 and 4. And I told you yesterday, x goes in the middle, symbols point to the left. Now, the only thing I have to pay attention to is which one has a bar underneath it. The negative 2 is a closed circle, so it needs the bar. 4 is an open circle, so it does not need the bar. Okay, so for this problem, there is my answer. Okay, so that's example number 1. Example 2, let's do something. It's very similar to the last one. Okay, it's already factored for us. So what we're going to do first is plug in our zeros. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm always trying to make them as even as possible. All right, so x plus 1 is at negative 1. Closed or open, that's a closed circle. X minus 4 is at 4. That is also a closed circle. Notice that this is a double root. And then on the bottom, I have x minus 2, which is at 2, but it's going to be an open circle. Okay? Now, we have to do our sign analysis. Give me a number to the right of 4. Let's do 5. 5 plus 1 is positive. 5 take away 4 is positive. There are 2 of those. 5 take away 2 is positive. All positives divided by positives is going to be a positive. So they're going to alternate everywhere except for the double. 4 is my double, so it's got to stay the same. And then everywhere else, they are going to alternate. Okay? So where are my answers located? My answers are greater than or equal to 0. Those are the positives. So I have 3 of those. So now I need 3 answers. Okay, let's do the one on the far left. It's everywhere to the left of -1 is positive. Left would be less than. I need the bar because it's a closed circle. Now let's do the middle positive. It's between 2 and 4. X goes in the middle. Symbols point to the left. The one on the right is a closed circle, so I need my bar. And then the one on the far right, it's everywhere to the right of 4. To the right of 4 is greater than 4. It's a closed circle, so I need my bar. Okay, so there are my 3 answers because I have 3 positive signs. Okay? And last but not least, the last part of this problem is a calculator one. So it says solve 2x cubed plus x squared minus 8x plus 3 is greater than 0. This is not factorable. Okay, so this is not factorable. Let me write that down. Not factorable. So when they're not factorable, we are going to use our calculator. Now, the picture of the graph is down here in the bottom right. Okay, so if you notice, there are 3 roots. Okay, we do the roots exactly the way we would, except it's not factored. So we need to use our calculator to do this. So I'm going to plug in my equation, which is, let me get rid of what's here. Let me get rid of what's here. All right, so 2x raised to the third plus x squared minus 8x plus 3. I hit graph. And if you notice, the graph in this on my calculator matches the graph in the problem. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to find our zeros. Let's do the 0 on the left first. Let's find the 0 on the left first. So second trace 0. And I'm going to move my cursor over to the left. It says left bound, so that's below. Right bound would be above. Enter, enter. And negative 2.41. So x equals, let me go back to my marker, x equals negative 2.41. Okay, let's find the 0 on the right now. Let's find the zeros on the right. Second trace 0. Let's do the one in the middle now. So left bound would be above, enter. Move it below, enter. Enter on guess. 0.41 is the one in the middle. So the one in the middle is x equals 0.41. And now we have one more to find. Let's find the one on the right. Second trace 0. Left bound will be below this time for the one on the right. Enter. Enter above. Enter. 1.5. 1.5. So I have 3 zeros. Negative 2.41. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to plot these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so my first 0 was negative 2.41. Negative 1, 2, so that's kind of right here. Open or close? This is an open circle symbol, so open circle. X equals 0.41 is my next one. 0.41, open circled, and 1.5. Notice I'm marking my zeros on my graph. All right, now, the rest of the problem is easy. If you, oops, I don't know what happened there. If you notice on our picture of our graph here, none of these zeros are double roots because they all cross the x-axis. So they're all single roots. So our signs are going to alternate. Okay, now, let's look on the far left. If you notice on the far left, our graph is a negative. It's underneath the x-axis. Okay? Between these two zeros, my graph is above, so it's a positive. Then the graph goes below, that would be a negative. And then to finish off, the graph is above, so that is a positive. Okay? So now the question is, where do they want my answers? Well, they want the answers of where it is greater than 0. So those are the positives. Okay? So this positive on the left is between negative 2.41 and 0.41. X goes in the middle, symbols point to the left. There are no bars because they're all open. And the positive on the right is everywhere to the right of 1.5. So that would be greater than 1.5. Okay? So those are our two new types of problems. We're going to do more review tomorrow. Hopefully that makes some sense for you. If you need extra help, always be sure that you can come and see me after or before school. Just let me know. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.